Has anyone read any of Bret Easton Ellis's work? Okay. A lot of people hate him, consider him a hack, and also a horrible person. But I picked up Less Than Zero like 7 or 8 years ago, and then just read like 6 of his novels in a row. And this is my favorite of them. I also have to admit that I read quite a bit, and I just randomly went like this on my bookshelf and picked an influence, and this was it. But it has a lot of similarities in my bio and what I'm going to read of my own work too. So I think this is his most political, less shallow, complicated of novels. And I'm going to read a section that's really the point, one of the points of crisis in the book. Okay.
Well, I sent the kids off over it. I know this book is so intensive, and feel free to read freely now.
I picked a less, this one isn't so bad. It's not American Psycho, right? There's some violence, and it's not terrible. There's no swears, but there's swears in this one, so maybe it's better. Anyway. A simple flash of light, a loud sound, the BMW bursts apart. The extent of the destruction is a blur, and its aftermath somehow feels beside the point. The point is the bomb itself, its placement, its activation. That's the statement. Not Bridget blown apart beyond recognition, or the force of the blast flinging 30 students closest to the car 40, 50 feet into the air, or the 5 students killed instantly, 2 of them by flying shrapnel that sailed across the courtyard and was embedded in their chests, and not the other section of car, which flies by, lopping off an arm, and not the 3 students immediately blinded. It's not the legs blown off, the skulls crushed, the people bleeding to death in minutes. Wow, I guess this is more violent today. The uprooted asphalt, the blackened trees, the benches splattered with gore, some of it burned. All of this matters just as much. It's really about the will to accomplish this destruction, and not about the outcome, because that's just decoration. A stunned silence, and then, among the conscious, covered with blood, not always their own, the screaming starts. 51 injured. 4 people will never walk again. 3 others are severely brain damaged. Along with the driver of the BMW, 13 are dead, including an older man who dies blocks away of a heart attack at the time of the blast. A week later, a teacher's assistant from Paris will die from head injuries, raising the number of dead to 14. By the time the flashing blue lights of ambulances start arriving at the darkening scene, the film crew is packed up. There's a film crew. And disappeared and will show up later in the week at another designated spot. Without staring through the lens of the cameras, everything at that distance looks tiny and inconsequential and vaguely unreal to them. You can tell who is dead and who is not only by the way the bodies look when they're picked up. Okay, I'm going to stop there. It's very intense. Okay, so this then is a chapter from a book I'm trying to write and finish. The next morning, Eric still hasn't returned, and I wonder if I should call the police. I decide to text Eddie instead. I ask him if he's with Eric, if he's heard from him. I make my coffee, feed the cat, and iron my suit jacket. I put on my nylons. I do everything in slow motion, out of body. I forget my makeup and tie my hair away from my face. This also is fiction. It's in the first person, but don't be fooled by that. The kitchen table is filled with newspapers and 2 dirty plates with bits of chicken and macaroni still stuck to them. The dinner we ate before we drove to Brainerd. I sip my coffee and stare at my phone, waiting for it to light up, but nothing, and I have to go to work. I have to explain some new project to the assistants. Our supervisor is auditing our records. Why did I agree to see Robert tonight? If Eric comes back, I won't go. He's probably doing this, staying away, ignoring my calls and texts to punish me, to test me, to see if I really meant what I said. On top of it all, I only have a week with Anna until she leaves Ashland, probably for good, on some half-baked charade circling the Gulf of Mexico. Why can't I move forward with my life? The phone buzzes and bounces around the table, and I grab it like a hand reaching over a cliff. Some of the newspapers fall on the floor. Robert again. Do you feel like Italian tonight? I text back, sure, what time? Compress Solutions is in Ashland's only strip mall and is flanked by a laundromat and a sandwich shop. It is along the county highway, the village's main road, which narrows as it curves into downtown, which consists of 3 antique stores, a Piggly Wiggly, 6 corner bars, Lusky's, a Mexican restaurant called Rio's, a hardware store, and the post office. The company is surrounded by farmland, soybean, corn, and cabbage fields. The hills roll and undulate and are demarcated by the St. Croix River and Lake Superior to the northwest. CRS is a modern place to work. Most everyone in the county works as a farmer, fisherman, or the last operating port where the Great Lake and river meet. Supposedly the port buildings were built on top of Chippewa burial mounds and the bodies were never relocated. Eric and I told ourselves this story when we used to sit on a small cliffside overlooking the shore and share a beer, but it is true. I am one of the few people in town who wears polyester to work. I walk into the office and it smells like freshly washed cold cuts and the blinds are drawn across the front windows. I punch my time card and go to my desk. My coworkers, 6 plus the supervisor, are click-clacking their keyboards with their headsets strapped over their ears. Cindy, the other assistant data manager, comes in right behind me and places her purse in her desk drawer. We start a half hour later than the data assistants and the supervisor starts a half hour later than us. Do you know when the data inspections start? I ask and notice her hand shaking a bit as she puts on her headset. Didn't you read the email? Bill's starting from the bottom up. Assistants first, then us, so probably not until the end of the week. She starts rubbing lotion on her hands before she fires up her computer and looks a bit steadier. How was your weekend? Absolute shit, I say, and wonder if Cindy's start drinking again. That's too bad, she says, but before we can get into any deeper conversation, Bill comes out of his office and starts giving everyone the new project sheet and script. He's here early, I say, and hide my phone in my desk drawer. Still nothing from Eric or Eddie. New project starts, Cindy says. Don't you read any of your emails? He said he was coming in early. No, I guess I haven't been reading them, or they're not sinking in. I can't believe the mess I've made. My eyes dart around the office, the generically framed artwork, the cubicles, the smell of compressed air and grayness, the water cooler gurgling, the aluminum blinds. Bill is droning on about this new government contract, how proud we should all be. Something about cell phone usage, and I feel so ashamed, and then I hear Cindy slam her hand on the desk. We can't have our cell phones on us at work anymore. I have 4 children. Poor Cindy, I think. She is worse off than me. No, absolutely no cell phones. You must put them in the lockbox. Bill lifts a large toolbox-looking container from out of nowhere and starts coming around to each cubicle to collect. We've also blocked internet usage on all office computers. From here on out, all our client contracts have been canceled except for the Namada contract. This is very high level and we need every person on board. He gets to my cubicle and shakes the lockbox at me. All the phones bump into each other. Come on, Deidre, turn it over. I open my desk drawer, no new messages. I throw it in. Okay, that's everyone then. You'll get them back at the end of the day. Bill seems pleased by our stunned faces, how everyone is silent and confused. Maybe for me it will be a relief, though I didn't think it was possible to be any more cut off. I can't fucking believe this, Cindy whispers to me, and I just nod my head. Here's a copy of the project description and call script. All the instructions are on this sheet. All of your computers have been connected to the project database. When you log into your computers and put on your headsets, the software will start calling the subjects. Follow the script and enter your responses into the appropriate fields. As usual, do not use your real names when interviewing subjects. Does anyone have a question? I thought this was a telemarketing job, Oscar, a new data assistant, asked from the back of the room. This is much more glamorous than telemarketing, Bill says. And one more thing, audits have been pushed back to the end of the week. Then he turns around, picks up the lockbox filled with vibrating cell phones, and goes into his office. I have no choice but to work. I put on my headset and log into my computer. Before I can check if the browser has been blocked, the Namada software starts up and the phone starts ringing. A screen pops up that reads Jerry P., Barstow, California, date of birth 1173. In a panic, I read over the script, but the words aren't registering. When a man picks up and says, hello, 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 I don't know what I'm saying when I begin. Good morning, sir, I say. My name is Susan Smith, and I'm calling from CRS. I am conducting a survey for the purposes of collecting data for memory enhancement research. The survey will last approximately 30 minutes. Do you have a few minutes today to participate in this survey? You will receive $35 for your time. Where'd you get my name, he asks. I look back down at the script. We receive all of our contact information from an independent research project funded by the National Institute on Memory, Addiction, Trauma, and Aging, or NAMADA, I say. He's quiet for a few seconds and agrees to the interview. Fine, he says flatly. I ask him to confirm his name, location, and birth date. He does all three, and I check the appropriate boxes in the system. Please tell me your earliest memory in 3 sentences, approximately 120 characters or less. Characters, I can't count characters in my head. That's fine, sir. 3 sentences or less then. I hear my robotic voice and I'm rushing to make sense of these questions, but the interview's moving too quickly. What's this for again? Sir, we are conducting a large-scale research project in order to develop better memory-enhancing technology for individuals suffering from acute mental or emotional disorders as a result of genetic or environmental factors. Jerry P. is silent on the other end. I try to picture him, a human being, and not some thrown voice in an empty theater. However, I know if I don't say something, I'll lose him. Sir, 2 to 3 sentences, please. I smile and I say it because that's what we've been told to do in CRS teletraining. Okay, I guess my first memory was when my younger brother Paul died. Can you be more specific, sir, such as incorporating visual, oral, or other sensory language? It helps to think of a specific scene rather than a general one. What is this? I can't hear this now. I can't know this, but I have to go on. What do I get for doing this again? Jerry P. asks. I push on with the script, and it's like the script has predicted every hesitation and attempt to escape so far, but we are both locked in. Sir, you will receive a check for $35 and the opportunity to participate in further research studies. $35, the amount only $5 more than our regular survey calls. Okay, he starts. I have a memory of Paul. He's much bigger than me, taller, and he's riding his bike in the driveway of our house at the time. I think it was the one on Grove Street when we lived in Bakersfield. It was blue. My father had... The script instructs me to interrupt him. Please keep the memory to 3 sentences, if you can, sir. Blue houses. Eric said one day he'd buy us a blue house, but our apartment building is cream-colored brick. Okay, Jerry P. says. 3 sentences. Paul is a teenager riding his bike in circles around the driveway. I'm laughing at him because he's smiling at me. The sun reflects off his bike's fender. It's lime green. There, happy? He gives me 4 sentences, but I don't have the heart to tell him. I just leave out the last one. Yes, thank you, sir. That was an excellent memory. I type Jerry P.'s first memory into the data bank and immediately forget it. I don't want to go on, but there are more questions to ask. My acid reflux is setting in and it feels like I've swallowed a foam ball and can't pass it. I wish my stomach would explode. Hello, Jerry P. still on the line. Yes, sorry, technical difficulties, I go on. Please tell me your strongest memory in 3 sentences, 120 characters or less. Strongest, yes, the strongest, the one that is most recurring. Please remember to be specific and use sensory details. The strongest, he says again. Yes, the strongest. The hesitation again, written into the script. I feel led by a wire attached to something pulling me. A charred girl, he says, on a dirt road around 5 in the morning. Charred, I say it and go numb. Charred, yes, like meat. There is more silence and I start typing in the memory but stop. I can't go on with the script. I disconnect the wire. I ask my own question. Do you have anything else you want to say? No, he says. But there's room for more if you want to add more. He has to add more. It can't end like this. She was wearing a baseball hat. A Reds hat, he says. Isn't that strange? The survey ends and I go back to the script. I confirm Jerry P.'s address for accounts payable. I thank him for his time and tell him that his check will be mailed within 3 to 5 business days. I tell him to have a good day and he hangs up after good. I take off the headset and pause the software before the database has time to make another call. I go to the bathroom and sit in the stall with my arms folded over my knees because it's the only place in the office I can be alone. My stomach, the acid keeps coming up into my throat and I've had nothing to eat since last night. I have never felt so desperate, if that is any feeling at all. Thank you.